My people, now welcome back to Eke React. I'm back with another trending topic in Nigeria. So today, my turn na one wey fit burst your brain. We go talk about wetin Dele Farotimi call Nigeria na British enterprise. The question be say, Nigeria wey we dey claim as our own today, e really start as our country or dem just use am do business? Na British people set up this system we still dey use, and the wahala wey follow dey affect us till now. From the way dem divide us to the kind leaders dem dey leave behind, e be like say we never really fit waka comot for this trap wey colonialism set for us. So how we fit break free? How we go sabi wetin truly be our own? No worry, we go scatter the matter small small as everybody go understand. So make you sit down gidigba, grab something to drink because this one go enter. Make I leave una with Dele Farotimi, but before then, make sure you subscribe to our channel if you are new to this channel. Turn on the notification bell so that you no go miss any of our updates. Like this video so that YouTube will recommend it to others too. Drop your own opinion in the comment section.
Nigeria is nobody's father, and it's certainly nobody's mother. Nigeria was found as a British enterprise. It's always been managed by proxy, and it has continued to be managed by proxy. It is up to we, the victims of Nigeria, to own it if it must be owned by us. But we will not own it if we do not build bridges across the many chasms of hatred that we have built over the years. We've legitimized the dehumanization of fellow victims on account of the fact that they speak different languages from us. They belong to different faiths from us. They are persons of different party leanings. We found many reasons to delegitimize the sufferings of fellow victims. If we must be saved, this has to stop. Those who benefit from Nigeria do not care by ethnicity, and they care nothing by religion, even the ones who are clerics amongst them. They merely prey on you, even the clerics. We have to find the grace. We have to find the grace to build a Nigeria if one must be built. Let me explain something to you. The ruiners of Nigeria do not mind if Nigeria is set ablaze. They've got nothing to lose. They have absolutely nothing to lose. It simply means that they will get assets picked up even cheaper than it is already. They've already devalued the currency beyond normal, simply because they keep betting against the currency itself. They're holding billions in domiciliary accounts in a country that is literally drowning in debt. They take the FAC and turn it into dollar almost immediately. They're constantly betting against the country. They have no problem with the country caving. It is me and you who have everything to lose. In recognition of the fact that we have so much to lose, we need to be very quick in understanding that we have to find fellow victims, recognize the commonalities of our afflictions, and in recognition of the commonalities of these afflictions, find the grace to make these demands of our National Assembly. Whether we like it or not, they say it's a democracy. They say it is our National Assembly. If we organize ourselves and we will dare to speak as one, The same National Assembly that took less than 72 hours or thereabouts to change the whole national anthem into the new national anthem should not find it too difficult to effect these basic changes and any other that other conscious and reasonable Nigerians might propose for its consideration. And if it fails to, it will then be time for us as a collective to act. But if you're going to be acting, what are you acting upon? We'll put together a draft proposal in the coming days, definitely before the end of this month, and that will be placed in the public domain. I see those of you demanding that I spend more time, but let me put it this way. Yorùbá will say àbọ̀rọ̀ là ń sọ fọ́mọlúàbí tó bá dénú ẹ̀ á di odidi. Ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ kágbọ́n o. A word is enough for the wise. And no matter how many words you speak, you cannot put them in a basket. I don't have to say too much. I have said enough over the years. And that was why I said the other day, Bonire say mi ò bá tiẹ̀ fìgbà mọ́, ìtò ti fi sílẹ̀ kò lè parun. Even if I stop speaking today, which I will not, until it pleases my maker to take me home, I shall continue to speak. I shall speak to the truth of what I see. So help me God. So, since we are the early birds, let us start with something that I addressed during the week. I think that might have been on either Thursday or Friday. So I wrote something to the effect. I think I should actually just look for it so that I might share it with you and then we can speak to it together. For a minute there, it wasn't recognizing my mug, maybe because I'm wearing makeup a bit. I lie a bit. So during the course of the week, I said, a second. Yes, I said, it was actually yesterday. I said, when I have found myself provoked into wanting to write or speak about our maddening realities, I have found that I had already done so in the past, and my words have echoed back at me. We have talked enough. The time to act is nigh. You know, until like 7-8 years ago, what came out as a simple sentence or paragraph would have been sufficient. The thought that was encapsulated in that would have been sufficient to provoke an essay, because I would have sought to explain all the reasons why I came to the conclusion that I had reached in saying that I had literally nothing new to say about Nigeria and that my words were echoing back at me. But since me and you have time on our hand, we've got 5 minutes on our hand, let me try and explain it to those of you who are here early so that we might just reason on this together. So, some years back, I started speaking in the public space and I started telling you what the future held. I wasn't speaking as some prophet, some Kerubu and Seraphim thing. No, no, no. It's easy to predict what the future will birth when you are honest about reviewing the seed that you see planted in the moment. So I was merely speaking to the consequences of the actions and inactions that I was seeing. And I didn't just speak to these, I also offered solutions based on my understanding of the issue. I don't presume to have any monopoly of wisdom, but I did speak. And I did speak to solutions even as I identified these problems. And I'd been speaking for years before 2022, 2023. And whilst a lot of you would find it very convenient to render the truth I have told partisan, the reality is that I have never been partisan in my engagement with the Nigerian state. And your ethnicity or religiosity matters nothing to me. So, fact of the matter is that I have spoken to these things for years, and it's only grown worse. So I spoke to it during the Obasanjo years. I spoke to it during the Jonathan years. I spoke to the same things during the Buhari years. And I warned against what I then called the two horsemen of the apocalypse. So the truth of the matter is that there is nothing I want to say today that I had not said before. So unless I'm going to personalize the issues and render the truth subjective, there is nothing I'm going to say about Tinubu today that I did not say about Obasanjo yesterday, because the truth is the problems are systemic. They are not about persons. You might find the person of Tinubu less palatable than you found Obasanjo or Jonathan or maybe even Bubu. But it does not change the fact that these are systemic problems. And if you would address the systemic issues or deal with the system that has allowed this speedy descent into hell, if you would deal with that system, then surely it becomes possible to deal with the problems. So when I was speaking to how tired I have become about constantly speaking to the issues, it is because when you speak to the issues without speaking to the system, all you're doing is that you are bemoaning the fruits without dealing with the tree that is producing the fruits that you bemoan. If you do not deal with the system that has produced Bola Ahmed Adekunle Tinubu, it will produce something worse, regardless of who that person might be. It's about the system. We need to fix the system. And that is what I meant when I said we need to act. We've talked enough. It's time to act. But good morning, everybody. It's 10 o'clock now. And I do believe that we should now stick to the script. I just, I did my thing, I tested the mic. We've had about 5 minutes. If you have time later on, if you're just catching us, you might want to dial back later on and watch the bit that had come before. I merely just explained something I posted yesterday about my frustration with continuing to speak to the same issue. And I believe that it is actually time to act instead of continuing to speak. It's becoming an echo chamber, and we're not going to get or achieve anything by continuing to speak without acting. I am hoping that by speaking to you, I'm preparing you for the action that must follow the speakings. So this morning, I want us to speak to a subject. I call it Nigeria's call. Obey? Yeah, I know they changed the anthem, so we're back to using the old. Okay, so we have the new old national anthem. But If you recall, the old one, it says, "Arise, O compatriots." It was a patriots. Nigeria's call, obey. You know, that phrase, Nigeria's call, obey, had always reminded me of when I was told that what the chant used to be was, "Apes, obey." Remember that? Apes, obey. Nigeria's call, obey. Who is Nigeria? What is Nigeria? Why must I obey the call of Nigeria? What has Nigeria done for me? What does Nigeria mean to me? Why have we all seriously, as a collective, serially disobeyed Nigeria's call? Why have we disobeyed its call, if not our call, or its call? Why have we disowned it? Who owns it if we don't? Because truth of the matter is, who obeys his call? But all right, let me not belabor that, but let that percolate in your thoughts. What right does Nigeria have to demand obedience? What right? I mean, if a father does not provide, he can hardly demand that the children for whom he does not provide or protect, the children he doesn't protect, for whom he does not provide, can hardly demand their obedience. Oh, wow. What right does Nigeria have to demand obedience? But let's leave that for a second. So, you see, I entered secondary school in 1978. And that was the year Nigeria decided, 1st of October, to abandon what is now the new national anthem. But just before they did, when we were on the school assembly ground at Fidelity Grammar School, yeah, they got that, Fidelity Grammar School. When we were in the assembly hall, I had this friend and classmate, Bode Akinyemi Ojugu. I don't know where he is now, wherever he is. God bless him. I remember him because it defined Nigeria for me in a manner that I didn't understand until I was about 16 years old. I was 10 years old at the time. Instead of singing "Nigeria, we hail thee," but they will sing "Nigeria, we hate thee." Yeah, those were Bode's words. I know as a fact I'm still in contact with a few old friends. I'm sure Shola Ogun is somewhere watching. He can confirm this. Every one of us knew back then. But he had improvised words for the whole new national anthem. But the one that sticks in my memory is the one where the opening line, instead of being "Nigeria, we hail thee," became "Nigeria, we hate thee." And the reality of the matter is that this exactly is the feeling that has come to define the engagement of the average Nigerian with Nigeria. If you would look to the whole new national anthem, I dug up the old new national anthem, which I must be sincere with you, I really do not know his words, and that's the truth. I've had to go back to the internet. I'm sure if I depended on my own memory at some point, I would have managed to fish it out. But the essential thing is that he says, Nigeria will hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all. Now this is where the lies begin. Nigerians all. Nigerians all is suggestive of something common to all. Something that is equal in all ramification. He's talking about citizenship. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. We moved from one aspirational lie to pure falsehood. Nigerians all. Nigerians all is suggestive of citizenship. Are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. How many of our soldiers, the most patriotic of them, who are paying the supreme price on a daily basis for Nigeria, can tell you that they are proud to serve the country of our birth? How many of the injured, how many of the policemen living in dilapidated barracks, how many of those who know that without stealing, they cannot feed their families on the salaries that they earn within almost all the services? How many of them are truly proud to serve? And then let's be sincere with ourselves. How sovereign is our motherland, quote and unquote? And then is Nigeria really a motherland? Or are we talking about murder with M-U-R-D-E-R? Because a mother must surely nurture, a mother must protect. We're the ones serving Nigeria. Nigeria is not serving us. That is why we could never really obey. How do you obey a system that you have seen as being oppressive and not in your interest? Exactly how. So, thanks to Bode, we're back where I was before they started saying that arise, O compatriots. So we've moved from one set of aspirational anthem to one handed to us by those who founded the enterprise called Nigeria. And as we have moved with each and every one of these baggages. The questions remain the same. This one continued and said, our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign, in peace or battle honored, and these we count as gain, to hand unto our children a banner without stain. A banner without stain? So we've moved from one set of aspirational lives back to the original lives. So when you say somebody is tasting the mic, and I use the word tasting deliberately, Bulaba tastes the mic. But the point here is this. If ever there was a demonstration of just exactly how much of a rubber stamp the National Assembly is, it was demonstrated with the speed by which the National Assembly changed the national anthem back to the old national anthem. And they can, by the same token, do a whole lot of good, even though this one was just a demonstration of just how much powers now resides in the hands of an individual, and he could simply get the National Assembly to do his will. And he did exactly that. But you see, this one is a situation where we have now been told that my friend's prognosis that we can continue to hate Nigeria, we hate they'll prefer that we did that. And it is easy to do that. A national anthem speaks to a nation. It suggests that there is a nation. National comes from the noun itself, nation. So now, when you're now talking about a national anthem, you're talking about a song that defines the people. I'll tell you something. Nigeria has been defined by many songs, or shall I say many songs. One of them, Lonely at the Top, bang, 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 and then Buga, when they were busy Bugaing, songs come and then songs go. But nations don't come and go without consequences. Disastrous ones sometimes. What you have right now is a situation where you have a national anthem that does not even speak to the aspirations of the people because it is not related to them in any way, shape, or form. A nation speaks to an anthem because there are shared aspirations to which the anthem speaks. And then the nation can begin to command the obedience of its people so that they might preserve it in unity. But when you have a nation that the people sees as oppressive and as not being in their interest, because before you may speak to citizenship, because that is the foundation of any nation, you must first of all understand very clearly the place of the rule of law in the erection of the state itself. In the absence of the rule of law in the erection of the state, you definitely cannot and will never have a state governed by citizens, because democracy cannot exist in the absence of the rule of law. Let me be clear about this. That old national anthem says, "Arise, O compatriots." Who are compatriots? A collection of citizens who have become patriots, and then you have a conglomeration of them. That is when you can speak to patriotism. You have citizens who have elevated themselves and become self-sacrificing in the preservation and promotion of the state. Those are the ones that you deem patriots. It is a collection of such persons that you put together and call compatriots. In a state such as Nigeria, where you do not have citizens, how do you say, "Arise, O compatriots"? So, even though the people who wrote that old national anthem and those who foisted it by military fiat on Nigerians on October 1, 1978, might have aspired to a nation, they did not build the foundation of a nation. And those who have today gone back to the old national anthem, more or less by the same level of fiat, have also ignored that there is no way that we can hail a country where we see ourselves essentially as victims. What right does a country have to demand obedience from those it had already denied the rights of citizens? Let me be clear. You cannot have citizens in a place that is unruled by law. Let's be clear about that. You cannot have a democracy in a place that is unruled by law. It's not possible. It's that simple. It is impossible to have patriots in a place that is devoid of citizens. But now that we have dealt with the problem, and I'm tired of dealing with the problems, but without telling you what the issues are, sometimes even helping you to understand your own estrangement from Nigeria, it is actually quite difficult to help you understand the drastic and revolutionary steps that we need to take if we must change our situation around. Let me explain this. If we have a country where the citizens, quote and unquote, are actually victims, but that country pretends to be a democracy, it means that to a very large extent, the capacity to change our reality resides in our own capacity to take revolutionary action in pursuit of change. I would explain myself. Nigeria says it is a democracy. It advertises this to the entire wide world. It has institutions, however weak, that purport to represent a state, a democratic one. It is within the right of citizens to demand change, peaceful change of their system. Before my Ekiti adventures, I have had occasion to speak with you, and I was canvassing before I was hauled off to Ekiti. I was canvassing electoral reforms. I'm coming back there, and that's where I am coming this morning. When I say Nigeria's call, obey, I must say that for our own enlightened selfish interest, we must indeed obey Nigeria's call. In order to free ourselves from the shackles of Nigeria, we must find the grace to obey Nigeria's call. How do we obey Nigeria's call? Begin to organize yourselves in cells. Reach out to persons within your sphere of influence, your circles of influence. Begin to educate them as to the need to have revolutionary electoral reforms. I propose only 3 basic changes to our Electoral Act. I am not unaware that certain persons are already speaking to these. I concede. But I believe it is time to begin to organize ourselves around these basic changes. If we don't get them, there is nothing doing in 2027. 2027 will be a waste of time. What you have seen in Edo, what you've seen in Ondo, and elsewhere that elections have held since 2023 is what will happen in 2027 if we do not have these changes clearly drawn up. 1, the regulations that were made by INEC that led all of us to believe that the election of 2023 will be sacrosanct was the one that promised automatic transmission from BVAS to IREV. Thanks to INEC, thanks to the judiciary, that has proven to become quite difficult to resolve. And today, we do not have a system that is found on that because obviously INEC's regulation has become discretionary and it's up to INEC to decide whether to police itself or not. Now, it will be time, I believe, that the legislative arm make that provision mandatory. And without that happening, there wouldn't be deemed to have been an election. That is one. The second thing, I believe very strongly that the time has come to demand that independent candidacy be allowed under our laws. The parties have become behemoths. Even the ruling parties have become behemoths. What happened at the last delegate elections of both principal parties gives you an inkling as to exactly how democratic the process of candidate selection has become. If a candidate is good enough for the people, let the people decide, whether that be at the level of the councillor, of the House of Assembly member, or whatever the level be. It should not be up to INEC or anybody to decide or determine who runs for political office. It should be up to the Nigerian people. The third is that the Nigerian diaspora must be given the right to vote. Now, when I read comments such as the one I saw pop up just now, asking if the Nigerian National Assembly will ever allow for these changes, it then comes to mind exactly why it was necessary that Moses grew up in Pharaoh's house. Who are the employers of the persons in the National Assembly? We, the people, even though that is a lie. Even the Constitution does not say in the name of the National Assembly, it says we, the people. It is time that the people of Nigeria, we, the people of Nigeria, whether you are Hausa, whether you are Igbo, whether you are Yoruba, whether you are Fulani, whether you are Ijo, whether you are Biobio, whether you are Egun, whatever you might be, should not matter. What should matter to each and every one of us at this point is that we are one as victims of Nigeria. If we have the capacity to mobilize ourselves across the many ethno-religious divides and partisanship, because let me be clear about this, I'm not speaking as a member of any partisan divide, I'm not speaking as a Yoruba man, I'm speaking as a victim of Nigeria. Do you understand? I am speaking as a victim of Nigeria. When you get into the Nigerian prison system, what you find very quickly is that your ethnicity counts for nothing. It counts for zero, zilch. Everybody equally victimized. And is actually exactly the same when you enter the police system. When you fall on the wrong side of the system, you are just exactly what you are, a victim of Nigeria. The capacity to speak to ourselves across the many divides that have existed across our country is what will save us if we must be saved. Let me tell you this. When Bode Akiyemi, aka Ojugo, was singing Nigeria, we hate thee, I was 10 years old. It seems like yesterday. I have children now. The last of them was 18, only a couple of days ago. Time has gone. Time has gone. We cannot keep bemoaning Nigeria. We can't keep complaining and demanding to know why we must obey its call. We obey its call for our own self-preservation.